if you clicked on this video, you were probably very intrigued by the title and probably the thumbnail. Of course, I gotta get you guys in here by the thumbnail. And I just wanted to do a little like rant discussion video, see what the community thinks about it so far. Maybe it's just me, of why Dead by Daylight is so boring right now. I wanted to talk about the fact that I've been a little bit burnt out, especially since I have a Dead by Daylight account, even though we kind of we just like related content and stuff, because if I solely did Dead by Daylight content, I probably would have lost my mind. I'm slowly transitioning to other things like Texas Chainsaw, which we will get to that discussion later on, but overall I really just wanted to talk about Dead by Daylight status like right now, because it's not like dead game status, because if you guys are new here, I do have a video I did a few months back before the 7th anniversary. I was talking about Dead by Daylight isn't dead, you guys are just overreacting, and I pretty much discussed about like we're just in a deep valley right now, we just gotta wait for the anniversary, and I was pretty hyped that it might have been Alien. I mean, I was sort of right, sort of-ish, like, don't go back on that video and go, oh, Doodle, you're wrong. The Singularity was that chapter, not, Alien. But I was sort of right. Alien came after, and it totally felt like another trickster to Resident Evil, because, Daniel in the cooler Daniel moment. It was just so silly how you have original sci-fi, and then we got another sci-fi, but it was like a licensed sci-fi at the same time, and I thought that was pretty great. But besides that, Dead by Daylight isn't dead. Don't be typing in the comments going, Doodle, shut up. Dead by Daylight isn't dead, okay? It's not dead. It's just to the point where I feel like this game has just been needing something more to itself. Because since we had 2 events so far, the Masquerade and the barbecue event, that burned me out. Like, just 2 big events at that time, even though the Masquerade was a little bit more bigger, it just burnt me out after the barbecue event. I didn't even touch the barbecue event that much. I did it for the first few days, and then I just was so tired of Dead by Daylight because I was so burnt out after the Masquerade event, because I played that like just so much, even though I didn't get all the outfits because I was just so unmotivated. Like, just those few months times I was unmotivated, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of other people were unmotivated as well to play Dead by Daylight, because after those 2 events, because I spent like the last freaking day of the barbecue event just getting Jake's full outfit. That's all I wanted, because Jake main here, been waiting for a new skin for a freaking year, and we finally got it, and it's so adorable. I'm so happy. Just bottom line, it's adorable and happy. But after that, I just stopped. I think after one stream I did 2 weeks ago, I just stopped playing, because I just didn't want to do it anymore. And I think that was the day I was grinding all day to get that Jake outfit done, and then I just stopped because I was so exhausted and tired of Dead by Daylight due to all the repetitive, toxic killers and stuff I was coming across. And Dead by Daylight, if you say Dead by Daylight, like probably the second or first thing that comes across your mind when hearing the game's name is the toxicity. And Dead by Daylight toxicity is just insane. Out of all the fandoms and communities I have been on the 19 years I've lived on this damn earth, Dead by Daylight is just the most toxic community I've ever been in. Of course, there's other very toxic communities, but Dead by Daylight is definitely the one that was heavily trauma and toxic based, because like, if you divide Dead by Daylight in its player base, you get 2 different things. A really fun game, and then you have the player base that whines and complains about every single thing, and don't even look at a perk the wrong way, because everyone's gonna yell at you to nerf it, and it's just, that's definitely another thing about it, is just, you can't really have fun on Dead by Daylight when you know what's going to happen, which is harassment, or anything in that matter, because I've had my fair share of people messaging me and harassing me over the simplest things. And of course, I haven't gotten that much messages over in a super long time, but back when I was playing a lot during 2019 to 21, it just I was scrolling through a lot of my old PlayStation messages, and it was just nothing but people complaining about the simplest things, and just it was super sad to see it that way. And you know what? I'm not perfect. I've had my fair share of frustrations in texting some mean stuff, but I've learned from that. This was like 2 years ago. I've learned from that, and I am no longer that kind of person. It is what it is. You shut your mouth and move on. It's just a game. But me being immature those 2 years ago, it just, that Doodle, very disappointed in past Doodle on that. But no one's perfect. Even you, the viewer. I know you've sent some mean messages to people after a toxic game of Dead by Daylight. And sometimes you just can't help yourself, but at the same time, it's just, just move on to the next thing. And if you don't want to play Dead by Daylight anymore, don't play Dead by Daylight anymore. Take a break, go do something else. It's just the simplest thing on that. And that's where it comes with my frustrations with Dead by Daylight. Of course, like I said, it's not a dead game. It's really at its peak, has it been for years, since at least since Stranger Things came out, And since Alien, it's been pretty hyped, but at the same time, I don't think nothing will ever beat the Stranger Things chapter, in my opinion, because that was definitely, around that area was definitely the peak of Dead by Daylight. When Oni came out and stuff like that, that's when I joined the game in 2019, December 2019, I'm pretty sure, when Oni and UE came out. And yeah, it just, nothing will ever beat Dead by Daylight, or the Stranger Things chapter. And I do hope one day Stranger Things does come back, but I'm gonna boldly assume it's gonna be, far into the future next year in 24, maybe when Stranger Things season 6 comes out. Is it 6 or 4? Nah, it's 5 actually. I am very stupid, even though I've watched all the Stranger Things. I haven't watched it in a long time, so don't mind me. But moving on to my next thing, of course I am rambling on like, there's no tomorrow. The game feels very repetitive, and of course, yes, you're going to be looking at me like, yeah, Doodle, you do 5 gens, or you kill all the survivors. Of course it's going to be repetitive, but, hear me out. I hope in the future we get more game modes instead of just the usual events. Now, I do not care if it's something as like what the Masquerade event did, because what the Masquerade event did was twist the game a little bit by doing the invitations, blocking pallets, breaking pallets without having to actually break them. Like, that was really refreshing in the game. And of course that was just like a few little things, but that made the game so much fun. It made it a little bit easier and a lot more fun. And I do hope in the future we at least get that more, or as of I talked in the past in some of my What We Need in Dead by Daylight videos, I would love to have, a mixtape of, some of the basic events that we had, and we can just, play off of those, like have some different stuff, like, oh, you want to play the Halloween event, here's, a playlist, or like, it's like in rotation right now, like Apex Legends does with their mixtapes of, oh, you want to play Gun Run, go play Gun Run, and if you want to play like the Halloween event, go play the Halloween event. Even though it's not much, I still think it's pretty good. Or at least, like, a mixtape is pretty far for Dead by Daylight because there's not a lot to offer in that sense. Because, of course, the only thing we ever really had in the game that was really a game changer was the Masquerade event invitations and the snowman from the Chill Freeze event, whatever the Christmas event is called. So if we would have an opportunity to actually have those in like its own little section, where if you don't want to play like normal, quote unquote, air quoting here, comp DBD, because at this point there is no casual DBD, it's all competition here, and you just cannot play casually. And yeah, so put that in a mixtape, those two things, and so you don't have to like mix them together. Just put them in two separate things, and I think that would be pretty fun. And of course there's going to be more stuff coming into Dead by Daylight, but it's going to be in its own separate stuff, especially with the Supermassive game that's going to be coming out. and such. I'm honestly trying to think on the top of my head what else they said. They announced that they're going to be working on. All I can think about is the Supermassive game, which is going to be its own separate thing. So, you know what? That's honestly a good thing since it's going to be, a different thing from Dead by Daylight entirely, but it's not a main game change. And of course, you don't have to change Dead by Daylight and it's like main gameplay and stuff like that. I'm totally fine with just doing the generators or killing the survivors, but at the same time, I would really like some different stuff in the game. Like a lot of people are talking about, like, oh, 2 killers versus 8 survivors or something in that manner, something decent. And that's where we're going to lead on to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. And of course, if you know me, you've been subscribed for a while, well, thank you for being subscribed. If you're new here, subscribe. That would be pretty fantastic if you could. But you haven't seen me play some Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I absolutely adore the game. Like, it is definitely one of the best games I played in such a long time. It's not frustrating. It's super fun and easy to learn compared to Dead by Daylight. And honestly, all you have to do is just go in and different stuff will happen each time. While Dead by Daylight, it's just you basically expect the same things. You expect tunnelers, you expect campers, sandbaggers, toxic messages, compared to something like Texas Chainsaw, where, of course, Texas Chainsaw is a new game, and there's going to be new stuff out in the future, and I can't really, say that, oh, Texas Chainsaw is better than Dead by Daylight compared to a game who's just been out in less than a month, and a game that's been out for 7 years, so take that with a grain of salt. But at the same time, it's just, Texas Chainsaw feels more lively compared to Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is just a pool of toxicity and a lot of reading. Dead by Daylight does have a lot of reading, which of course, like, I use the same perks I've used for years. And when new perks come in, it's going to be kind of hard to come up with new perks and stuff like that. Just as I would say, I wish at the end of the day we had some better content for Dead by Daylight, not chapter-wise, because all the chapters we've had so far have been great, except for Skull Merchant, but you know how I feel about Skull Merchant. But at the same time, it's just a different gameplay aspect would be really great for the game. But, that's just me and my opinions. I would love to know what you guys think about it, because I feel like I'm alone on this, but I probably am not alone on the fact that Dead by Daylight is very boring at the moment. I just, like, sometimes for me I have to, motivate myself to play games, because, like, how you feel when you're just, it's so hard to explain. It's when you're like, oh, okay, I want to play something, but I'm too lazy to, play it, and then, like, as soon as you get started into it, you're finally, like, motivated to play. That's kind of how I am, because I think I am a little burnt out on games at the moment. But Texas Chainsaw has definitely boosted my motivation to play more games. I've been playing so much. It's a nice refresher, and there's always different scenarios every time. Like, oh, maybe you'll die immediately, or maybe you'll finally get your first escape, or you get so close yet you die, because that happened to me. I finally escaped my first time last night, and I thought it was very fun. I got the valve and everything, and I was just, like, so excited about that, because I felt like I actually survived that. It's compared to how Dead by Daylight is, because Dead by Daylight's the repair gens and leave, while Texas Chainsaw is you have many other options to escape, and sometimes you won't make it out, but, like, you have many other options to escaping, and you have other, possibilities and whatnot compared to what Dead by Daylight offers. And you know what? I still love Dead by Daylight. It'll always be one of my favorite games of all time, but sometimes it's just a little too much for me, and sometimes other games just seem more better than to play this cesspool of toxic basement dwellers who complain about every little goddamn thing known to man. And hopefully in the future we will get more gameplay changes, not like, like I said, put it like in a separate thing, different game modes or something. God, if Dead by Daylight did better with the ranking system and, like, MMR and junk like that, I think I would actually play the game more if there was more variety to this game, because I've been here since 2019, like I said, and it's just getting to that point where I have to take monthly breaks sometimes from this game. Like, from the point where, when a chapter has been announced and you have the beta, and then I wait for that time before it comes out. And that is another thing I really do hate about Dead by Daylight, is how consoles have to wait for, be able to get their hands on the latest chapter. And I wish that wasn't the case, because I would love, because, you lose on your content, especially when people do YouTube, as myself. You don't jump on the bandwagon immediately when it comes to new chapters. And it sucks that way. That is probably another thing I really don't like about Dead by Daylight, is how the beta is. But that's how, that's how it is. Consoles aren't, exclusive to that kind of stuff, and sometimes just computers are, and I'm totally fine with that. But that's just a really sad way to see it, when you have to wait to get your hands on it, when everyone else is able to play it for a little while. But regardless of me ranting for over 15 minutes, I think that's all I really have to say about it. Just, do this quick video, getting it off my chest. Hopefully you guys kind of agree with me on that point of just the state of Dead by Daylight at the moment, because the state isn't bad. We're really a good middle ground, high peak, not really at the highest peak. And that honestly makes me wonder just how Dead by Daylight's going to be in the future, when there's no more licenses to come in the game, or what the future plans of this game is, because that really makes me wonder sometimes, because this game is 7 years old. It's a total surprise that it's lived this long, and there is a dedicated fan base behind it, and I am so happy for this fan base that stays here and you roost the game on, even if we're all nitpicky little fuckers. It's just, at the same time, it's it amuses me how far this game has come. And some changes are good, some changes are bad, it's just how games are, and Dead by Daylight isn't that great with its balancing. Of course, you can't balance everything. There's so many perks known to man, and with different killers, it's kind of hard to come up with new stuff. It's how it is when a game gets older over time, and getting to add stuff, it comes a little harder. But, at the end of the day, Dead by Daylight is a great game, and I do hope for the future that it's still, I'm hoping we can make it to year 10 with this game, and if we can make it to year 10, I'm totally fine with that. But it kind of does worry me on how things will be for the future, because I wouldn't be surprised if they do like what Apex Legends does with, we're not going to be adding a new legend, but we're going to be doing a rework, rework all the legends, or we're going to rework Revenant, how that is. It wouldn't surprise me if Dead by Daylight went that route when there's nothing to give, because there's so many things you can do for this game, and so many survivors and killers you can do, and so many licenses you can get, and some you can't even get. Especially something like Stranger Things and Friday the 13th and stuff like that. So, at the end of the day, it does a little bit worry me about that, but at the same time, we're not in the future yet. We're still in, the 2023 of Dead by Daylight. We're in the middle of the year. It's already freaking September, which is totally crazy. But, yeah. I think that is all I'm going to talk about. And if you have anything you want to talk about, especially on if you're burnt out on Dead by Daylight, or if you have some stuff to talk about, about the game's gameplay and what stuff you would like in Dead by Daylight, not killer wise and stuff like that, I would love to hear it in the comments below. And if you're new here, please subscribe. That would be fantastic. I know my uploading schedule is totally crap, but if you enjoy these little rants, and if you enjoy some gameplay videos, go check out my Texas Chainsaw, go check out my FNAF Ruin streams. Anything in that matter would help this little poor creator like myself out, because even though I am a small voice in this community, I sometimes get my voice heard in some videos. So check out my most popular videos, like the Collected by Daylight or the Springtrap video that I did. But of course, I know I didn't say hey Doodle Gang, but Doodle Gang, thank you for sticking around. I hope you guys have a fantastic day in the fog, and I'll see you in the next trial, whenever that will be. Hopefully, eventually, I will do some more Texas Chainsaw, because I've been getting some good stuff, but no commentary, because, my voice is, poof right now. But more Dead by Daylight in the future. I hope so, because I still have not got the Alien chapter yet. I do want to try it out eventually, but I feel like I kind of missed the hype, and I don't know if working on a video like that will do much for my channel, but I love making videos anyway for you guys. Like, regardless, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Very supportive. And if you have a Twitter, I have a Twitter, Doodle by Daylight, DY Light, because Twitter or X is pretty stupid, not letting me have an A in there, but follow me there for social stuff, and, you know, if you have any questions or requests, send it there. Even though I'm not very much of a social media manager, I try my best to stay on that account, because I keep on forgetting it exists sometimes. But even though my uploading schedule is very inconsistent, I hope you did enjoy this video, and I'll see you goobers later. I have not seen any Dead by Daylight drama so far this week, so I think we're in the clear. The only thing I have been seeing is how this community is dissing on Dead by Daylight, on how boring it is, and how Texas Chainsaw is so much better. I love how the community just disses on their own game, their own community game, so it's like very funny. But I'll see you later.